Hiya everyone, and welcome to the 4th episode of Secrets in Sparking Zero.
If you watched the previous video, you'd know that Kid Gohan and Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan are the only characters that gain free buffs when entering sparking mode. The reasoning is most likely rage. I say most likely because there's no official explanation, but it makes the most sense. Among all the characters in the series, Gohan experiences the most significant power-ups when enraged. So it stands to reason that the versions of him that heavily relied on rage are the ones that get these buffs when reaching max power. Now, a lot of you were speculating that Beast Gohan would also get this buff, myself included. If this mechanic is truly based on rage, then there's no better candidate than Beast Gohan. Unfortunately, the devs didn't see it that way, because Beast Gohan gains 0 buffs upon entering sparking mode. My best guess? They probably thought it would be too overpowered, especially considering how much he already has going for him. You'd think Gohan would be the only character to gain buffs upon entering sparking, but nope. Quite a few of you left comments asking me to test Oob. Why would I test Oob? Oh, of course. While Oob didn't have much screen time since he was introduced in literally the last 3 episodes of Z, those few episodes gave us just enough to understand how he awakens his power. And you guessed it, it's rage. The only way Goku was able to get Oob to fight him was by insulting his mother, among other things. So yeah, we have Kid Gohan, SS2 Teen Gohan, and Oob.
Here comes a mighty warrior!
I'll kill you, little pest!
Kale has a very interesting rage mechanic. She doesn't gain any buffs upon charging into sparking mode like Gohan and Oob. She does, however, gain buffs when entering sparking via her insta-sparking skill. Well, don't the majority of insta-spark skills give buffs to characters? They do. However, Kale's does not. At least, by default, it doesn't. If you use her Berserk skill, she will instantly go into sparking, but she won't gain any buffs.
Well, why'd you say she gains buffs just a minute ago then?
It's simple. Under normal circumstances, she won't gain any buffs. However, if you pair her up against Goku, see those little icons? Those are buffs. She gains those buffs exclusively when paired up against Goku. More precisely, anyone who rocks this hairstyle. Bardock and Turles? Close enough. Goku Black? To be fair, Goku Black is literally Goku. At least his body is. Kid Goku, GT Goku, and Daima Goku? Yeah, no version of Goku is safe. It seems as though everyone rocking Goku's hairstyle is a target, except Goten for some reason. Even in her Berserk state, Kale is still able to differentiate Goten from Goku, despite their uncanny resemblance. The reason she gains these buffs specifically against Goku is most likely due to her hatred toward him. She kinda saw him as a threat to her relationship with Caulifla, so much so that even a mere hairstyle triggers her rage to spiral even further. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Does Broly have this mechanic as well? You'd expect him to, but no. I've tested it with every single version of Goku, but unfortunately, Broly doesn't get any rage buffs. Kind of a missed opportunity, but hey, at least the Kale thing is pretty neat. Here's something I just found out. While Gohan doesn't get any rage buffs when entering sparking mode, he does gain a melee buff simply by triggering his Beast Sense, which is essentially Wild Sense with a fancy name. While it's not as good as those sparking buffs, a free buff is a free buff, no?
Hey you. Yeah, you. It looks like you still haven't subscribed. In fact, 70% of you that watch these videos haven't. Do it now, or else.
Or else what? Oh.
By default, whenever you perform a father-son Kamehameha, Goku pops up from Otherworld to help Gohan, rocking the same outfit he did prior to his death. However, if you decide to play team battles and pair Teen Gohan up with Super Saiyan Goku and something pretty cool happens. He has Saiyan armor? Yep, and the reason he has it is because I selected that outfit before the battle began. You see, if you're playing singles and or team battles without Goku and, then the father-son Kamehameha would just like it did in the show. However, by putting Gohan and Goku on the same team, we can customize Goku's outfit so that he appears in that outfit during Gohan's ultimate attack. My favorite combination is having them both perform the father-son Kamehameha while wearing Saiyan armor. The same applies to Great Saiyaman's Ultimate and Android 17's Axel Dance. You can pair up 17 from Z with Tournament of Power Android 18. The release of the Superhero DLC introduced changes to many of the game's mechanics, one of which was a nerf to super counters. Super counters were essentially get out of jail free cards that allow you to break free from your opponent's combos, provided you timed your inputs correctly. The problem was that super counters didn't actually require precise timing, as they were quite spammable with no real punishment for failed attempts. However, with the latest patch, the issue has been directly addressed by adding a short cooldown after each failed input to prevent spamming. This means players can no longer confidently rely on super counters to escape combo loops. Of course, you can still use them to break out of combos, but it's a bit harder now due to input lag. This led players to seek out new ways to acquire safe and reliable get out of jail free cards, which brought us to barrier/explosive wave type utilities. Barrier type moves are easily the best and safest utility in the current game state, which made Gamma's 1 and 2 instant staples in both singles and DP battles as soon as they were released. Of course, it's not just because of their barrier moves. Their auto key regeneration also plays a big role, but the point still stands. That got me thinking, surely they can't repel every single attack in the game. There has to be a breaking point, right? And that's when the tests began. I paired up all barrier users against some of the strongest attacks in the game, and here are the results. Special Beam Cannon? Nothing. Final Kamehameha? Nothing. Not a single beam attack can penetrate the barrier. However, not every attack in the game is a beam type attack. What happens if we pit these barriers against other bigger barriers? How will they hold up?
For my ultimate attack! You're going down! I'm invincible!
Okay, so they can tank it, but only for a short while. If the opponent's explosive wave lingers too long, it'll eventually break through, taking both you and your barrier with it. However, there's a way for these smaller barriers to not only cancel out the bigger ones, but even punish your opponent in the process. Let's say a Majin Vegeta player wants to finish you off with their unblockable final explosion. The move leaves him at 1 HP, but the Vegeta player isn't worried, because if they play their cards right, you'd go down first. Or will you? What if we activate our barrier at a much closer range instead of from a distance?
I'm invincible!
Not only will you cancel out the attack, but you'll also deal enough damage to finish off opponents whose explosive moves leave them at 1 HP. Quite a versatile utility, to say the least. Basically, the only attacks that can break through the barrier are other, bigger explosive moves. And even then, if you're close enough, you can cancel them out entirely, even getting a free win on characters like Gamma 2, Majin Vegeta, Super Buu, etc. Outside of explosive moves, the only other attack that can overpower your barrier is Tien's Neo Tri-Beam. Yup, he's just him. In all seriousness, he doesn't technically overpower it. Like super explosive wave moves, he simply stalls it out with his relentless barrage of Tri-Beams. If I asked you how many unique windscreen Sparking Zero has, what would you say? I assume 99% of you would say 3. Roshi with the Mafuba, Super Saiyan 3 Goku proudly looking at the sky after defeating Hirudegarn, and the iconic depressed look Goku gives to what's left of Frieza. Well, what if I told you there's more? At least one more that we know of. So I was casually playing as GT Goku against Mr. Satan and figured that finishing him off with a Spirit Bomb felt appropriate. After finishing him off, a random achievement popped up on my screen. A flair for fighting. I quickly minimized my game to check the description. Viewed 20 special finishers. This game has 20 special finishers? I thought we only had 3. Technically, we do only have 3. The achievement isn't saying there are 20 unique finishers. It just means you have to perform either of the 3 20 times to unlock it. Curious? I checked Whis' stamp book for all the special finishers. And sure enough, the game only lists the 3 that everyone knows about. But then why did GT Goku's Spirit Bomb finisher trigger my achievement progress if the only characters with special finishers are Roshi, Mid Goku, and Super Saiyan 3? Unless this windscreen isn't the only one GT Goku has. So I tried finishing off Mr. Satan without the Spirit Bomb, and sure enough, the windscreen was different. Wait. He has 2 windscreens? How has no one ever mentioned this before? I mean, the other 3 are way more polished, and their references are easy to recognize. But GT Goku's windscreen? It's kind of confusing. Honestly, I'm not even sure what moment it's referencing. It's definitely not from the scene where he kills Omega Shenron, since Goku was knocked out cold at the moment. The only scenes that vaguely resemble it are the final bout opening scene, or maybe the pose he struck while fighting Baby Goten and Gohan. I'm honestly stumped. Could it be that this special windscreen wasn't fully implemented? We know it counts as a special finisher because it progresses the achievement, yet it's nowhere to be found in Whis' stamp book. GT content in general seems to have some interesting cut material. For example, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta has a unique transformation sequence, implying we were supposed to get base GT Vegeta. And let's not forget Super 17. Could it be that GT Goku's windscreen was meant to be something bigger but got scrapped, leaving us with what we have in the final version? A pretty interesting topic to discuss. Gohan is a character known for getting overly confident and cocky whenever he faces someone he knows he's stronger than. Think of Gohan vs Cell, or better yet, Gohan vs Super Buu. The devs of Sparking Zero really embraced Ultimate Gohan's cocky side, and it shines through in a lot of his interactions.
You don't stand a chance against the Trio of Dangers pack leader.
Bring your whole family for all I care. I'll defeat each and every one of you.
Knowing what I know about Ultimate Gohan and how they characterized him in Sparking Zero, I was really curious to see how they'd handle his beast form. The form didn't have much screen time in the movie, so the devs essentially had free reign to interpret his personality. And man, they did not hold back.
What is this otherworldly strength? Were Saiyans always capable of such unbelievable power?
Well, I never imagined I'd get the pleasure of wiping the floor with you again.
But it's not just his interactions. The cockiness is spread throughout his entire kit. Take his Grand Slash, for example. Normally, characters perform an actual slash motion with their hands or feet. Gohan, though, he just stomps you. As far as I can tell, he's the only character who does this as part of his Grand Slash combo. And honestly, it fits his character perfectly. Then there's his rolling hammer. Every time you use it, he keeps repeating, "Hey, you okay?" while casually spinning you from one side to another.
Stay focused.
Gamma 1 and 2, they may not share blood ties because they're, machines. But they're as close to being siblings as 2 fully robotic androids can be. While they look and fight the same, the differences become apparent once we take a look at their personalities. Gamma 2 is a kind of goofy, overly confident superhero, whereas Gamma 1 is one of those strong silent types. Their personalities really shine in this game, with a plethora of unique interactions they have with the rest of the cast.
The champion of justice!
The champion of justice!
Fighting together!
Did they just forget about me or something?
However, one of my favorite showcases of their differences in personality, and one of the most subtle, happens when either of the Gammas loses focus on the target. Gamma 1 remains calm and collected, carefully scanning his surroundings in an attempt to locate the enemy. Gamma 2, on the other hand, also stays calm, perhaps a little too calm.
Man, my outfit's gonna get messed up looking for you.
Yeah, he really doesn't take anything that seriously. Additionally, it seems that this searching animation is unique to Gamma 2, which is pretty neat. Also, both the Gammas share the same moveset, but inverted. For example, Gamma 1 has the flying kicks as the first move in his combo string, whereas Gamma 2 has it at the very end of the combo string. And whereas Gamma 2 has the blaster wave as the first move in his combo string, Gamma 1 has it at the very end. Same with the heavy finish and the rolling hammer. Given how focused on lore accuracy Sparking Zero is, I was curious about the reasoning behind why certain characters gain super armor in Sparking while others do not. While making my DP meta breakdown video back in late October, I pointed out 3 characters who gained super armor in Sparking mode, and only one of them had a solid reason for having it, and that was Recoome.
You do well!
As a literal tank of a character, it makes perfect sense for him to have super armor, considering how he was portrayed in his fights against Vegeta, Gohan, and Krillin. The other 2 were Bardock and Yajirobe. Some people in the comments mentioned that Bardock was charging through hundreds of Frieza's soldiers like a literal tank. hence why he has hit stun immunity and sparking, aka super armor. I guess that kind of makes sense? But what about Yajirobe? I mean, sure, he's a bit on the larger side, but certainly not a tank character. Granted, he did survive Vegeta's fisting session, but does that really warrant super armor? I'm not sure. In any case, I was curious to see just how deep this super armor rabbit hole goes. That's why I went through the tedious process of testing it with every single character in every single form. As expected, every single big or bulky character gains super armor in sparking, even if they didn't have it in their base state. This includes all forms of Super Broly, Super Saiyan, and legendary Super Saiyan Z Broly.
Full Power Roshi, Bojack, Orange Piccolo, Mr. Omega, Super Android 13, Garlic Jr., Jiren, Toppo, Corrupt Zamasu, Dodoria, Transform Zarbon, Fat Boo, Super Vegeta and Trunks, Nappa, Berserk Kale.
Full Power Frieza, and, as previously mentioned, Recoome. This second category includes characters whose inclusion is slightly more questionable. King Cold, Second Form Cell, and funnily enough, Second Form Frieza. Second Form Cell was portrayed as a tank before getting absolutely wrecked by Vegeta and later Trunks. Second Form Frieza is in a similar position, so I guess he gets a pass. King Cold is a bit of an odd case, considering he was one shot by Trunks. Considering they gave Second Form Frieza a pass, and King Cold is using the same form, I suppose we can justify it even though he was annihilated by a single blast. And now, normal-sized characters that, depending on your opinion, should or shouldn't have super armor. Bardock, already mentioned, Gamma 1 and 2. I mean, they're strong, but are they really super armor worthy? Debatable. Daima Goku. Yeah, not sure what he's doing here. SSJ4 Gogeta. Some people aren't going to like this, but he doesn't have super armor, while Blue Gogeta, Vegito Blue, and even Z Gogeta do. Bergamo. Yep, he has it. Could be a reference to his giant form. Majin Vegeta. Given how much of a beating he endured against Boo, I'd say his inclusion is valid. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. He has it too, though I feel like Vegeta's inclusion is much more justified. And finally, Beast Gohan. No complaints here, he's a literal beast of a character. However, I do have one small issue. Not with him specifically, but with his other three forms. The Superhero DLC gave us 4 versions of Gohan: Base, Super Saiyan, Ultimate, and Beast. You'd think Beast would be the only form with super armor, but no, Ultimate has it too. Alright, that's passable, I guess. Ultimate Gohan is pretty strong, but what about Super Saiyan? Oh, he has it too. And that's not all. Even his scrawny base form from the superhero movie has it. What the I can understand Ultimate Gohan having it, but Super Saiyan and especially base form, yeah, that has to be an oversight. Considering how generous they were with handing out super armor, I'm honestly surprised they didn't give it to future Gohan, a character who spent years and years surviving brutal attacks in the future timeline. In conclusion, I do believe most of these choices are lore related, especially for the bulky characters. Some like Blue Gogeta and Vegito having super armor while SSJ4 Gogeta doesn't are probably due to balancing reasons. After all, SSJ4 Gogeta has some of the strongest and fastest combos in the game. And then there are the completely random ones like Superhero Gohan, Bergamo, King Cold, etc. I don't know, do let me know what you guys think. Do you guys remember the first episode where I covered Super Saiyan 3 Goku's unique charged Ki Blast? I mentioned back then that I wasn't sure what specific moment it was referencing. A lot of you pointed out in the comments that it's actually a direct reference to his fight with Kid Buu in the manga. In fact, someone even made an entire TikTok showcasing the exact panel. Thank you for that, by the way. Now, I had a feeling it was inspired by that moment, but here's the thing. I was using the anime as my reference. In the anime, Goku fires multiple Ki Blasts from both hands, while in the manga, he braces one arm and fires with the other, which is exactly how it's depicted in Sparking Zero. And here's where it gets really interesting. I made that video roughly 10 days after the game's release on October. Back then, this is how the move looked. Fast forward 3.5 months and I'm doing tests for that super armor section. You might have noticed I was using SSJ3 Goku for most of the tests. There wasn't any special reason for that, I just enjoy playing as him. But while running the tests, I got bored and started messing around, firing off some Ki Blasts. And guess what? Goku still fires his charged blast by bracing his left hand, just like before. But something was different. His pose, his entire animation had been updated. Check out this side-by-side comparison. See the difference? It's subtle but noticeable. They've tweaked his pose to make it more accurate to the manga. Now here's the crazy part. I have no idea when this change happened. It was never mentioned in any of the patch notes. It could have been as early as the December patch or as recent as the DLC 1 update. I honestly don't know. I just noticed it now. Don't get me wrong. I really appreciate that they went out of their way to adjust something this minor just to stay true to the source material. But it makes me wonder, why? It doesn't affect gameplay at all. No one was complaining about it. Or maybe, what if someone from Bandai actually saw that video? Now, I'm not saying I'm the reason they made the change, but hear me out. Besides pointing out SSJ3 Goku's Ki Blast animation, I also mentioned the inaccuracy of Goku's original expression compared to the movie. And wouldn't you know it? In the very first major patch, they fixed Goku's expression. I'm guessing they adjusted SSJ3 Goku's pose around the same time. Again, this is just speculation, since it was never listed in the patch notes. Considering how many views that first episode got, I wouldn't be surprised if someone from Bandai stumbled across it. And if that's the case, if someone from Bandai happens to watch this video, I'd like to quickly point out a particularly pesky bug that's been around since launch and really needs to be addressed. Have you ever had your combo drop for no apparent reason during online matches? I know I have. And no, it's not because of the connection. It's actually your opponent. Whenever you catch them in a combo, they can spam Vanishing Assault. It doesn't work every time, but after a few tries, the spamming pays off. Your combo drops and they get away scot-free. This is an issue that persisted ever since launch, and I'm honestly surprised it still hasn't been addressed. On the off chance someone from Bandai stumbles upon this video, please forward this to the dev team so they can finally address the bug and improve the online experience. That's gonna be it for this one. A massive shout out to Kyle Abear, Gohan's actual voice actor from the dub. You can catch him doing live streams here on YouTube, as well as on Twitter. You can also find me there while you're at it, you know.